In the quiet of the night,
ladies and
I
gentlemen,
hear a whisper in the white,
baby,
a fragile tone that pulls me gently through the fire.
are live.
Every chord remembers you.
Every chord remembers you.
Every note becomes a name.
Every note becomes a
I'm
name.
reaching through the frequencies, but nothing sounds the
Baby,
same. I feel the air around
we are about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up
inside the
and join
calling me back
the most athletic
through the echoes.
guitar stream of all time. The Guitar Angle. With your host, Mr. Sorenzo.
Your voice is in the
Undertone.
I'm rising,
Rising.
but I'm sinking.
Sinking in the echoes. Stop the clock.
Echoes of Sorenzo. The world is made of silver strings and unresolved desires. I chase the tone that once was yours through broken amplifiers. You fade into the reverb, but I still can't let it win. I hear you in the distance, pulling me again. I feel the air around me tremble like a truth I can't let go. A spark inside the silence calling me back home. I'm falling through the echoes where the shadows start to glow. And every sound you leave behind is the one I can't outgrow. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, your voice is in the undertow. I'm rising, but I'm sinking in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo. Hold me in the static, guide me through the dark. Every fading memory still reaches for my heart. I'm falling through the echoes, still searching for your glow. And every wave that crashes in reminds me where to go. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, I'm lost inside your overflow. I'm standing, but I'm drifting in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo.
Baby. Woo! Oh, baby. Oh, ladies, gentlemen, happy Saturday. Oh my! Oh, I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, I am in the mood. I am in the mood today to bring up some real deal guitar athleticism and spread it across the world like a guitar virus. Volume high. I'm the glitch in the system that you cannot find.
Crowds buzzing like a circuit overload. One strum and the whole damn room explodes. Heads are buzzing from the head.
I mean, what more can you ask for on a Saturday evening? Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Angle. I am your host with the most, Mr. Sorenzo. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Zuhair! Good evening. I have a computer question. Well, ask it. What is your computer question? Ooh, baby, baby. I mean, I am so in the mood. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so in the mood today, and let me tell you why I am so in the mood today. Because we have one hell of a docket for you today. Docket means items we're going to talk on the stream, okay? First, we're going to talk about Tom Morello's Arm the Homeless, new signature guitar released by Fender. Yes, they did it. We're going to have a chat about that. Importantly, and this is what makes today's stream a little unique because it happens once a year, we are going to talk about Reverb's best-selling data for 2025. That's a big deal, by the way. We're going to have a chat about that. Then, we are going to talk about some of the models that really ranked high this year in Reverb's list. And then, we're going to finish off the stream by talking about a Fender Telecaster, which is very close to my heart, the Haruna White and Gold Edition 2021 signature guitar. So, can you feel it? Static rising. Oh my, I am so in the mood, ready to go. I gotta tell you guys, I am so ready to go. Oh my. Take it deeper. Woo! I mean, what more can you ask for? All right, let's tone it down. Let's get to the items on the stream, shall we? Let's tone it down a little. Tone it down. Ooh, baby. Tone it down. Let us get the actual stream started, shall we? All right. Let's rock and roll. What do we have here? Before we start, Zuhair had a computer question. Tell me, have you ever had the problem where your SSD disappears and then it reappears after restart, turn computer off or on? No. I don't think I'm the best person to answer that question, brother. I do not know why that happens. So I'm not a computer savvy guy. I mean, I know how to run a stream, but I don't know. I know guitars. I don't know computers. Okay, no problems. Easy. Alrighto, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no objections, and objections is like the Spanish for objections, I guess. If there are no objections, let us get to our stream docket. Zuhair, tell me, is the backing track too loud? Is the volume good? Can you guys hear me well? Is it all good? Or do we have to tone it down a little? Like, do you guys need a bit more tone down? Is this okay? Tell me. Let's get started, y'all. All right, so go back. We shared the wrong string. Hold on a second. Why are we sharing that particular screen? Should be sharing another screen. Hold on. Give me a second. That's the wrong share, guys. This is not the one we wanted to share. I mean, now you guys can see what's happening on my side of things, on my OBS, but why is this happening? Hold on, let me fix this. Okay, display capture. We wanted to display this. Ah, there we go. That's a lot better. Yeah, I bought a new monitor. That's why I think it's happening. And I switched my primary. That explains. Okay, Zuhair says it sounds good, although a little too quiet. Okay, well, we'll increase the volume a little. Just a little. Okay. Let us get the party started. All right, for those who don't know, Tom Morello's famous, very famous, Arm the Homeless guitar finally got released by Fender. This was a guitar. It's a parts caster by all definitions. It is a guitar that Tom Morello, basically put together. So he bought a guitar in, I don't know, 80s or 90s, and then he just removed and added stuff and modded the heck out of it, and then it became this. This neck, famously, this hockey stick neck, was actually picked up, his original, was actually picked up from a dumpster. And, a dumpster, the back of the alley of a guitar workshop. So there was like a bunch of necks that were thrown away, and he just picked one of them, put it there, and that became the neck. So it is by all means a parts caster, and now Fender started to release this as a model of its own. Now, the thing that I found a little weird in this is actually why Fender did it, right? Because Fender actually had another Tom Morello model. So the Soul something, what is it called? Soul Power, there we go. So this Strat, which is actually a full-on Fender Strat, was actually out there already. So the fact that they released a guitar like this that is very Kramer based, like this neck is a Kramer kind of a neck, right? This headstock. So that was a bit interesting to me. And then the next thing that was really I found it a little weird is that Tom Morello, how do I say this politely and not like, because I'm a guitar guy. I'm not a social issue guy. I'm not a political guy. But for a guy that was all about, anti-capitalism, capitalism bad, big corporations bad, to get a guitar with a communist sign, whatever that is. And now, it's like capitalism bad, big corporations bad. Unless Mr. Morello needs to sell some guitars, then he goes to the biggest corporation in the guitar world. And then it becomes the hard-working people at Fender. You know what I mean? So I sort of made me laugh a little. And again, I'm not a politics guy. It just occurred to me. I'm like, this is a little weird. Zuhair says this guitar looks effing amazing. I'm glad you like it. This is all his artwork. This is all the stuff that he did himself, and then they just made it like that. You know what I mean? But I was just like, you know what? This is ridiculous. This whole like Rage Against the Machine. It's a political band. It's a political music, and Tom Morello is to the left of Che. But I don't know. It's just, I'm like, they're bad, but then the next thing you know, you go to this. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's a shame that Tom's principles and consistency is not priced into this guitar. Otherwise, you could have bought it for half price. But nevertheless, this is the guitar, and let's talk about it. Now, it has a painted maple neck with custom hockey stick headstock. We talked about the headstock. 15-inch radius rosewood. So interestingly enough, it has a 15-inch radius usually get 14 or 16. Usually there are even numbers when you get to higher radiuses. 22 medium jumbo frets and custom EMG pickup configs, which was great, you know. And one of the, if you listen to Tom Morello's interviews, you know, he really tried to chase some tones that, you know, were sort of like metal tones and rock tones. People like Nuno Betancourt's, you know, the whole thrash movement. So he got influenced by that a lot. So it's no surprise that there are EMGs used here. Like, it's not a surprise to me at all. Nevertheless, what do we have here for specs? It has a rosewood, yeah, so we thought rosewood fingerboard, EMG custom configurations, and then there's really not much else going on in the specs, is it? Like, so you got what is a Gota Japan floating bridge. You have the pickup switch down on the bottom horn, very similar to N4 Washburns, by the way. You don't get them down there that often. So overall, I thought it was like an interesting guitar to talk about. And here's what I find interesting about this guitar. I'll tell you guys what. And this is what I find interesting about Tom Morello in general. Because it happens a lot of times when, I guess we trashed Tom Morello at the beginning. I want to say something nice about him too, genuinely. Like, you know what I mean? Because we want to see the best in everybody. The thing I like about Tom Morello is the fact that, and this is very similar to Eddie Van Halen. So like putting Tom's name against Eddie Van Halen is a compliment in its own. But the thing I find interesting is that a lot of people, including myself, are very meticulous about, a lot of people like myself are really meticulous about details in the guitars. You know, we talk, sometimes obsess about minor details in the guitar. Tone wood, fretboard radius, scale length. You know what I mean? All these little details. The finish, whether it's nitrocellulose or some other lacquer, you know what I mean? All these details we really think, people like me find it really interesting, and we think about these stuff a lot. And then obviously that impacts on how we buy our guitars, right? So people like me, when I want to buy a guitar, it's a full-on, you know what I mean, on paper analysis before I buy something. So, and it's not just the buyers. Companies like PRS are really meticulous about these details too, with their QC, with their production. Like, little details, nerdy details are sorted out, right? The reason these nerdy details exist is because we believe that it has an impact on the final sound of your guitar. So for example, if you put too much finish on the guitar as opposed to a thin layer of nitrocellulose, like a few layers which, you know, melts into one, if the finish is too thick, it's going to dampen the sound of your guitar. You know what I mean? These little details I'm talking about. People like Tom Morello and Eddie Van Halen are unicorns that really defy all these laws, right? You know, because with Eddie Van Halen, for example, you know, you would like, you know, oh, you think like the color or the finish of your guitar impacts the sound? How about some spray paint that I found in a dumpster? Frankenstrat. You know what I mean? Or, oh, you think like the type of your wood or whatever, the neck is going to have an impact? Here, let me pick up a neck from a dumpster and then put it in there. And now it's Arm the Homeless guitar. Do you know what I mean? So there are really good players out there that just make something amazing with whatever equipment they've got. And there's merits to that, right? There is certainly merits to this type of thinking about your guitar, is what I'm saying. So yes, we kind of trashed Mr. Morello a little at the beginning of the stream, but I think, to be fair to him, I think this is the thing that makes, you know, Tom Morello really interesting and musically in his music ventures, right? And obviously, like, if you guys have listened to Tom Morello's music, he's great at, you know, making weird sounds out of the guitar. Like, he was very inspired by DJs in the 90s and 80s. And so he gets all these like wacky sounds from his pickups and his whammy bar and his wah pedals. So that's what makes this guitar, I think, really interesting. overall, like, not the guitar, my apologies, Tom Morello as a player, interesting, as a guitar player. Am I a fan of having these kind of stuff on a guitar? Nah, not really, to be honest with you. Completely honest with you guys. But, I mean, it has its own thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wonder how well this sells in New York right now. Zuhair. Alrighty, before we watch the video, are there any more details about this guitar, I wonder? I don't think they put much specs here other than what we talked about. Yeah. Anyways, so let's have a look at this video, see what this is all about. Check this out.
The Arm the Homeless guitar has been my comrade.
Comrade. Tom, I tried to help. I gave you a compliment. Why? This video started off wrong. All right, let's try again.
The Arm the Homeless guitar has been my comrade for life in the sonic sphere. It allowed me to find myself as an artist.
These are the sounds I'm talking about. When I said Tom Morello makes interesting sounds out of that guitar, like creative ways that he does it, this is what I was talking about. Wah, 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 wah. That. Go back.
The Arm the Homeless guitar is responsible for Bomb Track, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, Fistful of Steel, People of the Sun, Bulls on Parade, Viet Now, Down Rodeo, Guerrilla Radio, Sleep Now in the Fire. It was the guitar on which I wrote the riff from Cochise, Doesn't Remind Me, and Like a Stone. It's the guitar from playing Ghost of Tom Joad with Bruce Springsteen. All of my solo records, there's 22 albums on which Arm the Homeless guitar is featured. Every tour from 1988 to 2025, it's the Arm the Homeless guitar.
Okay. Are we gonna talk about specs? Or are we gonna... That's one of the... I gotta be honest with you guys. I've done a lot of guitar reviews. This one's the one that gives me a weird vibe. It really does.
If I work hard enough, sort of add my name to that list of people who play with the Strat-shaped guitar. That was really the principal thing. One of the worst things about my guitar originally was the neck. It was just an unplayable baseball bat. And I went through countless iterations of necks between 86 and 88. The neck that I finally found, and the one that they've recreated identically on this Arm the Homeless guitar, I found in a bin of used necks at a place called Nadine's Music on Santa Monica Boulevard. Literally like a bin, like you put a bunch of umbrellas in a bin. There was a bunch of guitar necks in there, and I picked one out that sort of felt pretty good to my hands, slapped that on. From that day to this, that was probably got to be like 1987 or so when I first put that neck on. And again, it was an off-brand, knockoff neck that just felt right to me, and is what I worked with in every gig and every record since. So
that's impressive. I think that's impressive for you to do something like this. Like I said, there's like only like a handful of unicorns that do like have guitars like that, like him, Eddie Van Halen, and all that make something really interesting out of it.
One of the sort of signature things in my aesthetic world are putting the guitar strings in backwards so they float around here like bumblebees. I'll tell you why. I was in Libertyville, Illinois, where I grew up, a beginning guitar player, like 17, 18 years old, and I thought it looked cool to have my guitar strings kind of sticking up like that. And another much more accomplished guitar player at the school looked at me disparagingly and scoffed and said, "Brother, like, cut your damn string. Like, what do you think? You're in the hottest band in town?" I was not. And he said, "Cut your strings." And in shame, I cut my strings. Years later, I was in a band called Rage Against the Machine in Los Angeles. And without being too, so overstating, we were the hottest band in town. I said, "I'm gonna put my strings up and leave them there from now on."
So there we have it, folks. Yeah. So, what can I say? What can I say? So I'll be interested to see how well this does in sales. Obviously, I don't think Fender is gonna, disclose anything in terms of how good or bad this is done. But I don't know whether, like, my hope is that there will be reviews out there and the Reverb sales data out there to see how well this is done. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. Zuhair says, you're looking well rested. Did you have a good sleep after your day job before the live stream? I am very well rested for the first time in a long time, because I've been, because of my work schedule, working 80 plus hours a week. I usually get like 5-6 hours of sleep on a good day. And I had a solid 7-8 hours sleep last night. So I'm actually really well rested. Yeah. You're right. It's nice to sort of sleep a little longer. I should do it more, man. I shouldn't cut my sleep for work, but I do it. So thanks for noticing. Thanks for noticing it. It melts my heart happy. All right, shall we talk about the next item on the docket? Let's do it. And this was like it's like a brief article before we get to the next item. But I just wanted to have a chat about this. Let me stop the music because I really need my my thing there right now. Hold on. So, Joe Bonamassa. I like to call him Joe Bossa Nova, but he's Joe Bonamassa. He said something really interesting about collecting guitars, right? And as a person who likes to collect guitars, it did not resonate with me at all, actually. So let's talk about, see what Joe Bonamassa said, okay? So check this out. When people ask, why do you need so many? They don't get what it is to be a collector. You have to have the ability to preserve things. Joe Bonamassa on why he takes gear collecting so seriously. Right. His pocket money is perennially spent on acquiring vintage gear, and he won't change the habit of a lifetime anytime soon. Joe has explained what it is about guitar collecting that he finds so fascinating and admitted to being addicted to buying vintage gear. Yes, addiction, I agree. I completely agree with that. It's common knowledge that Bonamassa's home, Nerdville, is a museum in all but the fact that fans can't buy an entrance ticket. I do live in a kind of a museum situation where I make coffee in the morning next to a tweed amp. What a life. That's a dream. That's the perfectly normal behavior for me. That's the dream, dude. I gotta be honest with y'all. That is the dream. When I look at a Les Paul standard from 1959 or Fender Strat from 54, I go, wow, every single part of this, from the screws to the capacitors that wire the thing, was made here. He goes on. So basically what he says is that, look, aside from the fact that you are addicted to buying the guitars, it is a matter of preserving things. And yes, I get it. It only applies to somebody like Bonamassa that actually collects vintage gear, not to the rest of us who just buy guitars when we can. And when I read this article, I thought, I started to think about my own guitar buying habits, right? And I was like, well, why do I buy this many guitars? You know, why do I have this many? And for me, I realized, other than, you know, the novelty, the fun in having something new, right, is also about curiosity. It's really about, like, me being curious of how well I can play with a particular piece of gear, how well it can develop me as a player. And switching guitars for different purposes is a fun thing to do for me. So for example, if I'm playing something that is just rhythm and it's not that difficult, I usually play with the bigger, chunky, like a Firebird. You know what I mean? Chunkier neck, bigger guitar. As opposed to me wanting to play like some fast solo, then I'll go to my, you know, dinky strats, like my N4s and so on and so forth. So that switch is an attractive thing for me too. But he does have a really good point about preservation, because he is one of the few people that actually appreciates vintage gear, unlike me. You know, for him, it's no longer about the prestige or the bragging rights of, oh, I have a genuine 50s Les Paul. You know what I mean? It's really a matter of him appreciating it. Same thing with Kirk Hammett, for example, the Greenie Les Paul. Like this one, like that guitar probably sells for millions right now. But for him, for Kirk has millions. It's not about the bragging rights of whatever. For him, is about really appreciating the tone of that guitar, I think. And Bonamassa is one of the few people that actually appreciates vintage gear. And he collects them and he preserves them. And I think that's a good thing. So I found this really interesting because it actually made me think about my guitar buying habits. Like, and if you guys are in a situation that you can do it, it's an interesting, you learn a lot about yourself. Just with your guitar buying attitude. Like if you sit down and think about it, you learn from you learn about yourself. So I thought that was interesting. Nevertheless, I think it is time for us to get to the main item on the docket. Now, for this main item on the docket, I'm gonna tone the music down a little, and we're gonna need our focus here. So, Reverb, for those who don't know, Reverb is the biggest secondhand market in the world, secondhand guitar market in the world. It's an online platform, and a lot of, you know, brand new guitar sellers, like normal sellers, are also on Reverb now. So it used to be only for secondhand, and now everybody's on it. This platform was created by Chicago Music Exchange, and then it was sold to different people, and now Reverb currently is owned by FMIC, by Fender. So Fender Music Corp, owns Reverb as the platform, right? At the time when this happens, obviously there was a lot of concerns about them preferring, you know, giving preference to Fender sales and the visibility of the guitars and all that. But that's beside the point. Interestingly enough, still, this year, Reverb released their best-selling guitar data. Unlike Fender, because Fender doesn't really bring that up, right? But Reverb did this year still. They're still doing it, so that's a good thing. And I thought that it was really interesting. Not just the ranking and everything, but if you read between the lines, you'll find it really interesting. Right? And reading between the lines, guys, what I've done for you, I've actually spent some time and analyzed this data. And I'll read between the lines and I'll tell you guys what are the messages, what are the key things that are in these stats, in these data. Okay, starting with 2025's best-selling electric guitar overall. Number one was Fender American Professional 2 Strat. And that was a surprise to me because this Fender guitar is almost a $2,000 guitar. It's an $1,800 guitar, $1,900 guitar. It's not a cheap guitar at all. It's not the affordable guitars at all. But despite the fact that it's not affordable, it was the overall best-selling guitar of 2025. Followed by PRS SE Silver Sky. And I thought, actually, that the SE Silver Sky was going to, again, dominate the market. That was my prediction earlier in the year. I wasn't that far off the mark. PRS SE Silver Sky is the second ranked overall best-selling guitar of the year. And the Silver Sky is actually a lot cheaper than the Fender Pro 2, right? So it is $700, as you guys can see, right? A notable thing here is that both of them are Stratocaster shaped. So really, the Strats, they're just dominating. Okay, Strat shaped guitars. Then the third was Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s. This, again, is not an affordable guitar at all. It's almost $2,000. It's $3,000, my apologies. So it's almost a $3,000 guitar, $2,800. Again, it was very interesting to me given the current economy, post-COVID economy, wars around the world, inflation in the West, and everything else that is going on. I was not expecting the top three guitars, two of them being like higher end guitars. Like, to me, anything above $2,000 is in the high end range, right? And that was an interesting thing to me. And then fourth one was, again, Fender Player Strat. And then after that, Les Paul 50s, Telecaster, Silver Sky Pro, the American version, was 7th. 2 Telecasters on 8th and 9th, and again, 10th was Stratocaster. So really, half of the 10 in the best-selling guitars were Strat-shaped guitars. 3 of the 10 were Telecasters, and 2 out of 10 were Les Pauls. Right? Notice that in the best-selling overall, we're only got Fender, Gibson, and PRS. So these are the 3 big boys in the town. Okay? We're going to come back to this with actually reading between the lines in a second. Now, going to 2025's best-selling electric guitars used only. Remember this as much as you can because I'm going to come back to it. Fender American Pro 2 Strat was, again, the best-selling used only. It was the best-selling used only. 60s Les Paul, PRS SE Silver Sky. It's kind of the same list as above, just a little just a little shuffled, right? Very, very similar on there. The only thing that is really different about it is that the SG Standard sort of made it to the list in used guitars. Moving forward, best-selling guitars new to 2025. So these are brand new guitar purchases, right? This was interesting. Epiphone's Back to the Future ES345. This guitar was number 1. And I'm like, that was a really interesting revelation for me. Like, that was like, why? Didn't see that coming. So this guitar really captured the trends, right? So when you look at Reverb's data, trend is usually when something new is selling out, not something that is used year. So really was on the trend. Now, very interestingly, the rank 2 and 3 new guitars are Tele-shaped guitars. So you have the Fender Standard Telecaster, and you have the SENF53. And if I'm not mistaken, these two guitars are not really that crazily different in their price tags. Check this out. So, $600 Fender Standard, and then you have $700 for the NF53. So PRS one is about 100 something bucks more expensive, but affordable Teles are ranked 2 and 3 best-selling electric guitars brand new. Rank number 4 was weird. I thought Reverb was messing with us. I don't know whether this piece of data is actually correct, but this was ranked 4 guitar. It's the guitarist from Coheed and Cambria, Coheed or whatever. It's this guitar. And I have no idea how this made it to the 4th rank there in the brand new guitars. I didn't even know there was a release there. So that was interesting. Fine. Rank 5 and 6 are... Rank 5 is a Telecaster again. Then rank 6 is your standard Strat. SE Custom 24.8 was there. So that's a custom 24 shape. Ranked 8 AZ24. I thought this guitar would rank a lot better. If you guys remember, I think this was much earlier in the year. I did a stream with me going to the biggest music store in Melbourne, like the biggest music store franchise in Melbourne. In that music store, this was January of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Jan or Feb. Pretty sure Jan. Ibanez had an event for the 2025 release, and I went to that event and I recorded it. There's a video on my channel about it. This guitar was released then, very early on. And when I played with it, I was very impressed. It is a great value guitar. Like for the money you pay, this guitar is just fantastic. And in one of our earlier streams for $600, right? In one of our streams, I said, this guitar is going to dominate the market this year. I thought this was going to do a lot better this year, and I was wrong. It ranked 8th. I thought it was going to be in the top 5. I was clearly wrong about it, but it's in the top 10 list. And I thought this was, again, another interesting revelation. And then you have modified Strat and then a semi-hollow PRS SE to finish off these rankings. Now, this is, you know, the details there, right? What I'm about to tell you guys now is reading between the lines. The reading between the lines bit that I sat down and analyzed this for us to have a chat about what's going on. So, stop the music. Here are some of the inferences we can get out of it. Number one, Strat style guitars dominated the market again. No questions about it. So out of all these categories, 5 out of 10 in the best-selling guitars and in the used guitars are Strat or Strat style guitars. So really, Fender Strat and PRS Silver Sky, right? So 50% of this list here in all three are just Strats. So they're just dominated it. It's like nobody else is anywhere near that, right? Second inference we can get out of this, the second interesting conclusion we can get out of this list is here. The difference between this list and this list. That is that the Telecasters are not trend driven. My apologies. The Telecasters, I'll say it again. The Telecasters are trend driven. They're not volume driven, right? In the best selling new guitars, you can see that the rank 2 and 3 is a Teleshape guitar. And again, rank 5 is another Teleshape guitar. Strats are not even there until rank 6. So you can see Telecasters are trend driven, not volume driven. So they're not sold as much as Strats, but with the new trends, buyers kind of like them a lot, right? So that's really interesting. What it says is that if they might not dominate the long-term volume, but they explode when they are refreshed, when there's new Tele models out there, they really outperform any other shape. So that was very, very interesting to me. Third thing is that the PRS Silver Sky is now a legitimate Strat alternative. It's not a fad anymore, right? Over the past few years, since its release, it's been consistently in the top, one of the top performing guitars out there, right? And this year was no different. Given the fact that we had this trend over the past few years happening again and again and again, it is safe for us to now conclude that PRS Silver Sky is a legitimate Fender Stratocaster alternative. They are eating Fender's lunch big time, right? Nearly half of the Strat style demand here, like when you look at these lists, is not Fender in the top. Less than half, but a big chunk of it is like PRS SE Silver Sky and the Core. So that was really, really interesting. So these are the ones that you can see on face values. Now let's dig a little deeper, shall we? when you look at best-selling electric guitars used only, you can see that the Fender guitars, Fender Strats, generally high-end guitars, because remember we said both of these like $2,000, $3,000 guitars, they're high-end guitars. Fender Strats and high-end Fender Strats and high-end Gibson Les Pauls are bought and then resold more than any other guitar. See where I'm coming from here? Bought and resold more than any other guitar, right? That means they circulate heavily. People buy them, test them, then rotate them, right? Now, part of this is understandable because Fender Strat and Gibson Les Paul are the top two guitars by miles when it comes to them keeping their resale value. So when somebody buys them, they're confident that they can sell it again secondhand with a really fair price. So it kind of makes sense that they're kind of on the top of that list. But again, the fact that expensive high-end guitars like this are rotated and churned a lot faster, I thought, again, it was really, really interesting. So it tells you a lot about guitar market's behavior, right? Moreover, another thing that it tells you is that these, these stuff that are highly bought, highly sought after, they're highly sought after, but they're also sold a lot in the secondhand market. They all have this sort of vintage vibe to them. They're all the old school Gibson Les Paul 60s and Fender Pro. Pro is a little less, it's still a Strat, right? But they're like more vintage stuff in a lot of ways, as opposed to like really modern Strat or model Les Paul shape or anything of that nature. So that's another one. And then lastly, if you look at this, not lastly, if you look at the best-selling electric guitars used only, Telecaster don't even show up until like rank 6 and 7, right? But they're bought a lot brand new. So what that tells you is that Telecasters are also stickier. So not only the buyers sort of buy them more when new models come out, like they explode when new models come out, but they also sell them less in the secondhand market, right? They are stickier. They are more trend driven and they are more stickier. And that was, again, I did not see that coming whatsoever at all, right? It's just like, it just means longer ownership of that guitar. So I thought this was really interesting. Next item, the thing that when you look at these charts, you realize, and this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, is that the Les Paul demand is stable and it's conservative. They are kind of all there in the lists for both the 50s and the 60s Les Pauls. And it makes kind of sense, right? Gibson doesn't have to innovate to move units. You know what I mean? They don't have to come up with something crazily new to sell. So you can see that Les Pauls are just there, conservative and consistent in this whole thing. But really, one last thing to really keep in mind here is that the used guitar market clearly favors dream guitars, right? Clearly, pro-tier legacy US-made guitars are clearly favored in this list. So that kind of sits with the whole Gibson Les Paul demand and everything else, right? But yeah, overall, it seems like Strat is the default go-to for half the population. Fender still leads by miles. So Fender is ahead of the game, followed closely by PRS and Gibson. But they're just dominating it again. Not a surprise there. But I thought all of these little things that I, just brought up here, I thought they were really interesting. It tells you a lot about the behavior of guitar buyers. So what do we do with this information? To be honest with you, I don't know. Like for somebody like myself who likes to buy a lot of guitars, but I'm not really fascinated with Fender Strats, to be fully honest with you guys. I'm not so sure how that would impact somebody like me, because I don't buy guitars thinking about reselling them. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I spend so much time and pay a lot of attention to the guitars that I buy and my behavior. I don't really, you know, I don't think it will impact somebody like myself who won't buy a guitar to sell it later. But I thought it's interesting. It tells you the guitar market, and I said it, I think, a few streams ago. The guitar market, the guitar buyers are very conservative to this day. Even with new guitar buyers, even with younger guys getting into the market, it's still a very, very conservative market, and heavily prefers the old school US made stuff. So Zuhair says, later Sorenzo will drop in and out from now on. Fair enough, man. All good. Do it at your convenience. Zuhair says, I'm actually considering getting this AZ. It's a great guitar. I played with it, and every review out there tells you that it's a great guitar for value. It's a great guitar. So I can recommend it. I played with it myself, and every review since the beginning of the year that came out of this was just insane. This was Ibanez's best guitar this year, by miles, by far. Not even close. I played with this color, the blue color, but I know there was 2 other colors there as well. If you like a, you know, like a sunburst, or if you like something like charcoal, it's there. The blue looks great. How much is it? $600? I forgot. Yeah, $600 from Sweetwater. So yeah, people love it. If you're into it, I think go play it, dude. Don't buy it from Sweetwater. Buy it later from Sweetwater if you want. I don't have anything against buying from Sweetwater, but play with it first and then buy it from wherever you want to buy it. Just that's why I think it's important, because a guitar can be great and everyone can love it, but it might not be yours. So just to avoid any disappointments, do that. It's the same as my Ibanez, but has the whammy option. Oh yeah, well there we go. Yeah, but mind you though, I don't. The nut is not a locking nut from memory. Yeah, it's not a locking nut. So no dive bombing, basically, right? Vibrato, yes. Dive bombs, probably not. Yeah. One thing that occurred to me, and I'm like, well, this is the thing, right? Given all the success that the PRS Silver Sky did, because PRS Silver Sky really is just PRS's take on Stratocasters, right? It's a PRS Strat, let's be honest. I'm surprised, given how well it has done consistently over the years, and the fact that I think it's there to stay. It's a solid part of PRS lineups, and it is a Strat now. It's a Fender alternative, legit. I am surprised, given that info, why would PRS then come out with a Telecaster that is not a Telecaster? You know what I mean? It's a tele-shaped guitar, but in its sound, in its shape, it's not really a Telecaster. You know what I mean? It's a new guitar, whereas the Silver Sky is a Strat. And so the fact that they did so well with that guitar, I was surprised a little that when they came out of this, they came out with something like this, as opposed to something a little bit more closer to the old school stuff. So, not like this is a bad guitar. This is a fantastic guitar. I haven't played with it myself, heard a lot of great reviews about it, so I don't have anything against it. But the point I'm trying to make is that had they stuck to a more traditional, old school design of Telecaster, and then refined on it, similar to what they did with Silver Sky, similar to what they did with single cut McCartys, you know, went to competition with Gibson, right? They could have done something similar here, and it would have blown the market out. I would bet with you guys. I'd bet money that if they did something like that, it would have just gone just blow the market. Not as good as Silver Sky, because Strats are still far more popular than tele-shaped guitars overall. But boy, oh boy, wouldn't that make a statement? So yeah, here we go. Yeah. And obviously the Les Paul Standard 60s are killing it again. I saw this Gibson Les Paul, I forgot, I think it's like Alpine White or something. I saw that guitar and I was enamored with the color of it. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I think it's this one. It's nothing impressive or crazy. It's just a Les Paul. But I really dig the simple white. If only this guitar didn't have this annoying pickguard, I would have loved it a lot more. It's just obnoxious. These pickguards to me are really, really obnoxious. Can't stand them. It's just like, and the problem is you can unscrew this thing. So you see the screws up there? You can't unscrew it, but then this screw hole is going to be there and I'm just going to keep thinking about it. So that's like the reason why I'm not buying any of these ones. Like I want a white Gibson Les Paul that doesn't have a pickguard and it's simple. It's just nice, white, simple. Like this. Like it's not bad. My gosh, does this have a floating bridge? Abomination. You know what? There's some men want to watch the world burn. Dorotio. Hi, Telecaster Bros. What's up? Did you get it? Did you buy it? Did you buy one? Dorotio, did you buy one? Tell me. Did you buy one? And if you did, what are the specifics? We need model names. We need to look it up on the screen right now. Did you get it? So for those who don't know, I made a couple of shorts about Telecaster and Telecaster Tonewood. And the first video, Dorotio was like a little tempted to buy a Telecaster this year. And then with the second video out, Dorotio was like, you know what, you're tempted me. You know, that's it. I'm gonna pull the trigger. So that's what we're talking about. Not yet, still looking. Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. I don't know when you joined the stream, Dorotio. We were talking about the best-selling data from Reverb. And one of the conclusions out of these, like one of the inferences out of this, because I sat down and analyzed it, was that in the best-selling guitars on Reverb, out of the top 3, 2 of them were Telecaster-shaped guitars. So you had the Fender Standard Tele, and then the PRS SENF 53, and then again, rank number 5. But then when you look at the used guitars, they're not really there. They're like coming like rank 6 and 7, right? And one of the conclusions we got out of it was that Telecaster buyers buy a lot more trendy. Like when new Telecasters come out, brand new, they explode. And Telecaster players keep them longer than Strat players. With Strats, there's a lot of churn. And I thought that was like a really interesting statistic. Dorotio says, but the Batcat Telecaster is just lacking the maple. But all the other specs are spot on. Let's have a look at it. What are we? Batcat Telecaster. What are we talking about? I see. I see. Maple neck, right? You really like the sort of the beveling in the body of the guitar, don't you? And these very similar to Chapman Teles, the ML3 Pros, ML3 Traditionals. They all have this sort of like this middle bit of the guitar beveling, and then you really like that shape. I can see the trend when we talk about the guitars you like. You really like that. Interesting. Yeah. How come you're not going for an ML3, by the way? I thought like when we first talk about tellies, in my mind it was like if Dorothea was gonna go buy a telly, it's probably gonna be an ML3. How come not? How come you didn't go for an ML3? Yeah. By the way, these look amazing. These finishes look insane. Look at that stain job. My. It's beautiful. Amazing stain jobs. Like, look at that. Oh, this is great. This stain job is great. It really brings the wood lines out. It really brings the wood lines out. They've done a great job with the staining of this. Again, I don't know about the pick guard. Why would you put a pick guard in a guitar like this that has such a beautiful top? I don't know whether it's a veneer or a top. I think it's a top. I could be wrong. Yeah, 5A maple top. Yeah, so you have a 5A top wood. Why would you cover it up with a pick guard? Just put it in a separately in the pack if you really want to supply it. But you're right. So you got the maple top, nitro finish, Alnico 5 pickups, 5K pots, vintage tuners, bone nut. And then you have a roasted mahogany carved body, one-piece mahogany neck. Right. You want a maple neck. Fair enough. These picks are insane. Also, AIO guitars have a Telecaster type no maple neck, says Dorothea. Interesting. Right. So, like, what are your other options? Like, if you go and search for anything Telecaster, you don't want to go Fender, I know. You said that you're not a fan of Fenders. I wonder whether it allows you to search against Teleshape. Like, yeah, Telecaster shape guitars. Or T-style, there we go. Right? So if I have that, and then I look for anything that sits, what would the price there? Like $500, I think. 550. So let's just say you're looking for anything between 400 to 600, right? What do we have here? I wonder. Tele Standard, Squier Classic Vibe. I had this guitar, by the way, if you guys remember. I had the Squier Classic Vibe 50s. Chunky neck. ESP LTDs, Squiers, Fenders, Sire, Larry Carlton T3 is a different option. Okay. Squier Traveler guitar. Look at that. Huh. ESP LTD. Schecter is another option. Look at that. But you want humbuckers in your guitar, though. Leah James Telecaster type is a budget pick. Might need to swap pickups, right? Yeah, okay. Look at this. That looks horrible. Traveler guitar. Jesus Christ, dude. It's like you have to pay me $500 to store it in my house. Like, I'm not gonna buy this guitar like this anyways. It's just like, looks horrible. Yeah, interesting. Okay, fair enough, man. Well, look up and you know, do your thing, and hopefully you'll find something really nice and you can celebrate this Christmas and the New Year's with it. Yeah, fair enough. they butchered that guitar. Okay. Abomination. All right. Shall we jump to the next item on the docket? By the way, tell you guys one thing. In parallel with looking at these, Reverb's best-selling lists and everything else, the thing I also had to look at, and this was a little funnier this time. The thing I looked at also was the fastest-selling gear on Reverb this month. So they have a monthly report. Reverb has this monthly report, and they put out the fastest-selling stuff out there. And the fastest selling, this thing sold in 137 seconds, was a Fender American Acoustasonic Jazzmasters, this guitar. Sold in 137 seconds, and it occurred to me, I'm like, can it be because there are bots out there? Like, this is not a human buying it. This is a human being employing bots. Because like 137 seconds is not enough time at all for you to get a notification on Reverb. Because if you guys don't know, you can go on any listing in Reverb. So have a look. I'll just go here. Right. So any listing, you could go there, and then you can get notifications for it. So you can add it, put it in your liked items. And whenever there's some updates on this, there are some notifications that get kicked out, and you'll know what's happening, right? And I was thinking that I'm like, man, 137 seconds is not enough for you to get the notification, rush to the platform, put your card details in, and make a purchase. Like, I don't know. So it seems like a very body behavior to me. The second fastest selling guitar this month on Reverb was this Les Paul Custom for $154. And I'm like, again, in 154 seconds rather, sorry. Sold in 154 seconds again. I'm like, that's really weird. A Fender American Strat in 185 seconds. So yeah. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. Look at this guitar, by the way. Why? Why? You have such an awesome piece of wood. Why do we need a pickguard that covers all this beautiful area? Why? I don't understand this for the death of me. Why would you drill a hole? Just put a removable, non-drill needed piece of pickguard there so that people can just enjoy it. Enjoy looking at this beautiful guitar without having to look at this ugly pickguard. My God. This. Oh, man. Anyways. Alrighty. Shall we talk about the next item on the docket? I just want to bring this up briefly, and then we get to talk about the next item on the docket. So, I've been waiting on... Let me stop the music. I've been waiting to share this guitar with you guys. You guys have seen it in a couple of my recent videos. And I have a long format video about it that I'm going to tease a little. But before I do this, I thought I wanted to share this guitar with you guys. So this is the guitar we're talking about. This is the Fender Japan Telecaster Haruna Signature 2020 White Gold. That's the listing on Reverb. Mine is 2021, and it's the last year that this guitar was produced. So allow me to bring that guitar to you guys so you can see it. Hold on. Here we go. This is the guitar. Check this out. So this is the guitar, and has a lovely, lovely It's a beautiful piece of work. I gotta be honest with you guys. It is impressively beautiful. I said it to Mrs. Peachy. I'm like, in all the Telecasters I've seen, in terms of how good this looks like, this is probably in my top 3. It's beautiful. And the guy who sold it to me, this is like literally in a mint condition. The guy had it for 4 years sitting in a box, basically. He was telling I don't think I played with it 5 times. So he's a Telecaster guy. He had a Telecaster collection, like 6, 7 guitars, if you want to call that a collection. And this was like literally brand new. And I adore the maple, the color of the maple neck. I adore it. I really do. The fretboard and the neck. Anyways, tell you guys a story. So I went there. The person that actually owned this guitar, this person didn't live, he lived like 20 minutes driving from my place, which is like really close. So I went to this place, and his father is a vet, like a veteran. And he, in his garage workshop, makes bullets. And I was like, this was insane. It blew my mind. I've never seen somebody doing that in their garage. So that was like a funny, interesting thing. So anyways, I go there, play the guitar, love the guitar. I noticed that it has some issues, and I had to bring it home and work on the guitar for a couple of days so that I can resolve all of those issues. And the long format video that I'll be releasing next weekend is about fixing those issues. What did I do to fix those issues? So you guys can follow the storyline there, but also hopefully you'll learn a lot about how to fix similar issues on the guitars that you buy. Like when your neck is not straight, when your neck is angled, and when it's too low. What are the things you can do to fix it? I'm not going to give away more of that video, but it's a great video. The one that's going to come out next week is a phenomenal video. You guys will learn a lot about fixing these issues, setting up the guitar properly after. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But anyways, talking about this guitar, other than the amazing looks of this guitar, here are the specs of it. So this is the signature guitar of Haruna. She is the lead guitarist and singer for the Japanese band Scandal, if you're, they're like a very pop band kind of a vibe. Made in Japan. Body is alder. We like alder in Telecasters. I think we talked about it in one of the shorts. Body finish is polyurethane, maple neck, and the neck finish is satin. So that was if neck finishes are usually neck finishes that are not satin are kind of like a deal breaker for me. The guitar should be really special for me to buy it if the neck is not satin, because I don't like sticky necks. It's a U shape, sort of like a really thick old school neck, and the radius is 7.25. So this is a very traditional style of neck. It's chunky, and it's very round fingerboards. It has 21 frets, vintage style frets. So these are all tiny little frets there. It's not medium or medium jumbo. Has a bone nut. The nut is very well cut when I was doing the inspection on it. 42 mils wide bone nut, and it's very well cut. They've done a great job with that. Not a surprise. It's, Fender Japan, I guess, right? Now, interestingly, the pickups here are DiMarzios. So the Chopper T DiMarzio pickup sitting in the bridge, and then your Twang King DiMarzio sitting in the neck, and they sound phenomenally good. You don't get that many Fenders without the Fender pickups there. Fenders usually got their own pickups going on, but the DiMarzios sound just amazing. So I played, I think one of the shorts I did was me playing the solo for Metallica song 1, and everybody loved the tone. I got a lot of comments across different socials, I think on Instagram more than anywhere else, of how good this guitar sounds like, the tone of the guitar. The neck pickup mostly, because usually with Telecasters, I'm on the neck single coil almost exclusively, so it's almost always there when I play the guitar. 3-position pickup switch, by the way. And really, that's just it. You got like a standard, you know, what do you call it? String through tele saddle, block steels, and that's pretty much about it. It's like a nice, beautiful pickguard, and that's the guitar. Now, check this out. The funny thing was, the thing that like got my attention a lot was this. So this guitar was the 2021 model, right? The 2020, 2021, and then it got discontinued after 2021. The thing that was interesting about this is that if I go here and I put this on in Sweetwater, you can't find it. I don't think you can find it on Sweetwater. You can't, right? When I go and look at Fender's website itself and I paste it there, right? The new model that came out for this guitar is called the Telecaster Boost, and it looks nowhere near as good. First of all, nowhere near as good. And then it got a lot closer to Les Pauls, like with your two-nomatic bridges, a two-piece bridge, and your, you know, humbuckers with a cover on, and your inlays. This really, really, for some reason, the 2022, 23, 24 model of this guitar completely shifted from a Telecaster philosophy to a sort of a Gibson Les Paul style of guitar. And I was like, this is weird. I've never seen an iteration of a guitar changing this much for the same artist. You know where I'm coming from here? So if you look at the specs here now, maple fingerboard, but a mahogany body, not an alder body. So we are going for, you know, more mid-range, more low end, right? You have two humbuckers with volume and tone. So, you know, again, very Les Paul style. Inlays, very Les Paul style. And now, go on to the specs. Gloss polyester finish, mahogany body, showbucker 2Ts in the bridge, and showbuckers in the neck. Three position blade, two middle pickups, one volume, so two volume, two tone knobs, and chrome nickel hardwares instead of gold. So I thought this was really, really interesting in terms of like the thing. And then the neck shape became a C shape, so it's a thinner neck despite the fact that it maintained the same fretboard radius. So it's not fair to call this guitar an iteration of the one I'm holding. It's not. It's a completely new Telecaster. And the fact that the same artist does this like that, discontinue a model and then completely change it, the same brand, it was just a little weird to me. I don't think I've seen this happening that often. Usually there's some sort of a consistency with the signature guitar that is released from a you know, from a company that, you know, is in collab with the artist. So I thought this was like interesting to talk about, despite the fact that, you know, like one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because I really like this guitar. I really have fun playing it, but also it was interesting to me because when I was trying to research this guitar before I buy it, I was always seeing the Boost because it's the new model. So Fender's website doesn't have the old one in their catalog anymore, understandably so. But it's just the fact that it's so different. It was weird to me. So I went to the guy's place and actually played with it, and amazing family. Yeah. Zuhair says, back for the time being, Sorenzo, is this Fender your new guitar? No, this Fender is my new guitar. This is the 2020-21 model of this artist's signature. This is just completely different. So this is mine. And it's a beautiful guitar. And it sounds amazing. You guys heard me playing Metallica's One with it. I think my video just froze. Give me a second. I think my video on the other camera froze again. Guys, give me a second. I don't know why it happens. Let me restart the camera. See if that helps. That's depressing. Doroteo says, man, that's a sweet guitar too. It's a great guitar. It's a beautiful looking guitar. Yeah. Nice and simple. I look horrible here, dude. I don't know what's happened there. Eyes half closed. I look high. Maybe we should just do the rest of the stream like this. What do you guys think? No, that's a sweet... That's a sweet guitar too. Let me put this back. Oh, I need both of my hands to fix this. Hold on. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't understand this camera. Like so you guys remember when this happened the last time, right? I thought I fixed it. Clearly not. All right, so give me 1 second. I am going to do this. I'm going to do something insane. So I'm going to bring my camera here. And I'm going to make it smaller. And let's see if we can fix it. Let's go to the properties because I've already reset the camera. Deactivated, activated, and then let's see what it does. Like, you prepare everything, get it all sorted for it to then miserably fail. Ah, unbelievable. Ay, ay, ay. All right, can we bring it back to life now, guys, or no? Are we gonna be that way about it? I think we're gonna be that way about it. I think that's the verdict. Yep, it's completely out. What happened? I don't know, man. I don't know what this camera does sometimes. So for some reason, this thing freezes halfway through sometimes, and I've already updated all the drivers and everything else. I've already, you know, done everything I could. I made sure that it's whitelisted with my antivirus, and it all's supposed to be nice and well, but for some reason, this darn thing just consistently goes berserk on me. Yeah. There we go. I think we got it back. Ah, thank God. Okay. Yes! Oh, no. What's going on here? Okay. Ah, hold on. Okay, let me try this. Ah, yes! I think it was on photo mode. Okay, so just bring this here a little and done. Problem solved. Thank you for your patience. What I was saying is that this guitar also looks great. Go there, prepare everything, and then do it. I don't know, man. I do not get it. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I am impressed with this guitar, Dorothea. I genuinely am. Like, these Bad Cats are so good for the money, for the price tag. Insane good. I mean, look at that. Look at the stain job. And then look at the features. 5A flame maple top, stainless steel, nitro finish, Alnico 5 pickups, 5K pots made in Korea, fine. They're not CTS, but it's like a $500 guitar. Bone nut, probably synthetic bone. One-piece mahogany neck, slim tapered C-shaped neck profile, India rosewood fretboard, my. This is insane. And by the way, it's on a Gibson scale, so it's on a 24/7/5. So if you play in standard tuning, your strings are nice and flexible and not loose, not flappy, but they're loose and comfy. Yeah. Dorothea says, "Hold on, guys, I have someone knocking at my door." Fair enough, brother. Go do what you gotta do. Oops. Zuhair asks, "Do you consistently play guitar every day?" I do, without fail, every single day. Some days I have more time to play, so it'll be in hours literally, and then some days I have less time. I make sure every day I get at least a couple of hours in, an hour or two. But every single day. The only times, you guys remember, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, I had a really bad wrist injury, and I had to go and go to different doctors and do some imaging and electric shock assessment or whatever, nerve conduction study. There we go. That's what it's called. So in that period, because I had a bad injury and it was becoming a lot worse, I had to put the guitar aside. But then I started to only use my right hand. So that in that period, I played less, but I focused on my right hand. But I couldn't play as much anymore because this whole nerve thingy from my neck to my hand was just killing me. So I couldn't put the guitar on me or anything. It was just on my leg, just my right hand. And then, so a little less in that period. But these days, now that I'm like healthy and everything else, yeah, every day. Yeah. How many years have you been playing the guitar? I can't tell you, I can't tell you like an exact number, because I picked up the guitar for the first time ever when I was like 15, 16, a little younger maybe. No, a lot younger, 12, 13, right? But it was a classical guitar because my parents are very, very old school conservatives. And to them, metal, rock music is just like bad influence music, right? That's just like nothing that you do. And then news with Marilyn Mansell's Columbine stuff comes out and made things worse. Anyways, so they only allowed me to have classics, and I hated classical guitars. I back then I hated them. Now I hate them. Nothing has changed in that regard. But when I got it, I never practiced it because I didn't like it. So I did like a few lessons, and I didn't learn anything. I wasted my time and the instructors. Never really touched it and played. So it wasn't like until after I left my parents' place that I finally gathered some money and bought a guitar and started seriously practicing and playing. So me full on practicing, not long. It hasn't been that many years. Me touching the guitar, I touched it the first time when I was 12, and I hated classical guitars. Yeah, it's not when you start playing, it's when you start seriously playing, right? Because we all know that a lot of people, they start doing guitar lessons, and I had some of my people, like people that I taught guitar to, and they just once a week you go there, and that's the only time they really touch the guitar. They don't really like practice or anything for whatever good or bad reason. I'm not blaming them or anything. It's just the reality is that that's the case. So that doesn't really count, does it? That doesn't really make you a better player. So I'm not sure if I knew you 4 or 5 months back. Yeah, we knew each other. We knew each other for a while. When was your first stream? When was the first stream you saw? Yeah. Was it a back injury? No, it was a muscular and nerve injury in my left arm. It started all from my traps, and it then got here, and it really killed me in my forearm and my left hand. It sucked. Yeah, it was really bad. It was painful, and I couldn't use my arm. So it was like a lot of like, I went to therapy for it, and a lot of jacuzzi and sauna time, and all that jazz. So yeah. Just overusing it, just overusing my left hand with the guitar. So yeah. So I did jiu-jitsu for almost a couple of years, quite regularly, like 4 days a week, for about a year and a half, 2 years. But I had to stop because of guitar, because for those who haven't done jiu-jitsu, there's going to be a lot of pressure on your wrists and your fingers and your arms overall, with all the grabbing and everything. So your arms are heavily used, very heavily, especially if you do gi jiu-jitsu, like when you wear the kimono, because now you have to grab that thick piece of cotton, and you get very regularly injured. So because of guitar, I had to stop jiu-jitsu, but I loved jiu-jitsu. I had so much fun doing jiu-jitsu. Do you like Monster energy drinks? I'm having the green one with 0 sugar right now. Nice. No, I'm more of a Red Bull guy. I've always been a Red Bull guy. I've had Monsters before, but like it's just like an acquired taste thing, because I'm so used to the Red Bull taste. Like I get the 0 sugar, like sugar-free Red Bull, the light blue one. And I'm so used to that taste, it's just hard for me to switch into Monsters. And Monsters come in very different flavors. Yeah, but I have a friend of mine who's a massive fan, so we have our own energy drink debates. Yeah, that flavor I like. Some people apparently collect the cans. Do they? Why? It's just like a collection thing, or do they like sell it separately? Because Monster has a lot of flavors. Like if all right, hold on, let me have a look. Let's just give me a second. Energy. Like Monster has massive number of different flavors, if I'm not mistaken. The Red Bull has like a few. Monster is like insane. Like 30 different flavors. Maybe a hobby? Okay, yeah. Fair enough. That's a weird hobby. But that's fair enough, man, as long as they enjoy it, I guess. Yeah, man, so many flavors. Like, look at that. So you're having this green one, or this green one. And then just the 0 sugar section. Look at all of these flavors there, man. Like, they have every tonality of pink in their cans. Yeah. Yeah, but your boy is more of a Red Bull guy. Yeah, much more of a Red Bull guy. Yeah. Anyways, shall we jump to our last item on the docket? And I thought I want to talk about this guitar, because this guitar was it showed up as the best-selling electric guitar, brand new in Reverb's list, and it caught me off guard. I'll be fully honest with you guys. I thought, because this was the guitar, right? The Epiphone Back to the Future ES345. This guitar was at the top of the list, ranked #1 in Reverb's brand new guitar sales. And I thought it's a Strat. I was like, if you were to ask me to, bet on it before this data came out, I'd be betting a Fender Strat, some Player 1 or 2 or whatever. You know what I mean? Clearly not. So this was the guitar. So, layered maple semi-hollow body with a solid maple center block. Mahogany neck with a rounded C profile. And Zuhair's personal comment is, oof, that cherry red looks sick. It looks nice. Any other color would have been meh. Well, the good news is that that's the only finish. We don't have any other colors on this. You're right, the red really stands out. The color of this shape, this guitar, is red. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, so mahogany neck with a rounded C profile. It's a mahogany guitar. Rosewood fretboard, 22 medium jumbo frets, paraloid split, parallelogram inlays. So these ones. Gold hardware, Alnico Classic Pro pickups, Bigsby B50 vibrato. Rock and roll, there we go. That's the that's the only Fender piece you can find in a Gibson guitar. Vintage style hard shell case and Starliners graphics. So that's the guitar. Take a look at that. Old school. As old school as it gets. So here we go. Look at that. Vintage style tuners with plastic heads. I really like plastic heads. I've played with every kind of, like, many different kind of tuners and tuning keys. Not tuners, tuning keys rather. So I played with many different type of tuning keys. Banjo style, old school style, PRS style, Fenders, Gibsons. What I figured is that I actually like light tuners and tuning heads for a couple of reasons. Number one is that if this whole bit, so all 6 of them, everything that is there is light, you're much less likely to get a nose dive, like a head dive, neck dive on your guitar. I said everything except for the right word. So if this thing up here is not heavy, you're less likely to get a neck dive on your electric guitar when it comes to the balance of your guitar. Right, so the Firebird, for example, I have, that Firebird guitar, because of this ginormous headstock, and because the fact that early 60s Firebird, so Firebird 1, which is the one I have, actually had banjo tuners, and banjo tuners are heavy. They're crazy heavy. And so that guitar has a ginormous neck dive. So when it's lighter, you're less likely to get that. Secondly, if you guys play a chord, and I suggest you try it at home, get a guitar, play a chord, and you notice that your guitar body and neck, even if it's like a half decent guitar, the body of the neck and the top of the neck resonate a lot, right? So you play it like a C major chord or whatever, and hold the top of the neck, and you feel the vibration in your left hand on the neck, the resonance. There is a belief that the heavier this part is, the more it dampens the resonance of the neck, which makes perfect sense to me. So because of these two reasons, I've recently been favoring light tuning keys and light tuning key wings. So something light and plastic. Like, I've been favoring those. But yeah. Doroteo asks, is that for 50s and 60s guitar sounds? I would think so. Right? Because the ES345, I think, came out in the 60s. I could be wrong. Let me double check. I think they said something here. Hold on. 59. I said 60s, didn't I? Close. So it actually came out in 59. So it is for a 50-60 sound. Yeah. There we go. So 5-ply layered maple semi-hollow with solid maple center block. A rosewood fretboard, 22 medium jumbo, gold hardware, mahogany neck with a rounded C profile. I like the diagram here. Alnico Classic Pro pickups. And then Bigsby vibrato. If it says Alnico Classic Pro, what is this made out of? Like, is this... I don't think that it's an Alnico 5 then. If it's like a 59 guitar. Is that an Alnico 5? PAF style humbuckers. Oh, wow, okay. And it has Alnico 5. Okay, I was wrong then. So it's going to be really nice and bright. It's going to be a nice and bright sound. Zuhair says, my Gibson Flying V's vintage style tuners stay in tune really well. Oh, that's good to hear, dude. That's good to hear, because a lot of Gibsons, because of the divergence of the strings from the nut to the tuning pegs. So if you have a look at a Gibson headstock, that's a good example. See that? So the Gibson headstock, unlike Fenders, the strings don't parallel come down to the nut. You can see that there's a divergence here, like that. It kind of opens up like this, right? So because of that, some Gibsons are harder to stay in tune, especially on these two strings, right? A lot of them no longer do, but in the era not long ago when like Gibson had serious quality control issues, one of the very common issues that was happening was people's inability to properly tune these strings. And a lot of it was stemmed from this particular old school Gibson design. This is part of Gibson's paradigm, by the way. So this is part of their guitar building philosophy. Angled headstock, angled neck body joint, this all sits in Gibson's guitar building paradigm. Dorothy says the band Stray Cats used that guitar. Ah, okay. Fair enough. Zuhair says, bye Sorenzo, be good. You too, Dorothy. Ah, alright, take care, brother. Sounds good. Look after yourself. Zuhair says, do a stream tomorrow. I am off tomorrow. Only thinking about myself, but yeah, later. Later, brother. Sure. I'll do my best. Genuinely, I'll try my best to get to do a stream tomorrow, if I can. I'll announce it to everybody on the Instagram stories and on X, because that's where we announce when we go live. Sure, dude. Thank you. Appreciate you. Dojo says, adios, Zuhair. Adios, indeed. Hasta la vista, baby. It's a good time Zuhair left. This was literally the last item that we had on the docket. So we really want to talk everything, but I think the stream today was really interesting because, and I'm not trying to blow in my own horn here, but I think because this whole like Reverb yearly data happens once a year, right? And it just gives you great insight on, you know, the buyer's behaviors. And if someone's like me, that you find these things fascinating, because I genuinely find it fascinating. This is like collective human psychology on display about guitars, you know what I mean? Because of that, I was like, you know, like I really like this time of the year. Like, you get to talk about all the specials, and that tells you about what the companies are doing. So all the specials, Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff tells you about the company psychology, which is insane interesting, like what the companies are thinking and doing. Company psychology is a bad term, but you get the point. And then this tells you about buyer psychology, which is like all of it together. I love this time of the year. I love this time of the year. I like Christmas season, holiday season. I really do. So yeah. All right. I think, y'all, we are going to leave it here. Guys, thank you so much. So much for hanging out with me today. Before we leave, though, I want to do our usual traditions. Before we go, I need to pop this and drink it to your health. Guys, came out, this bit of the stream was a little too late. It's usually in the middle of the stream. But I want to drink this to your health. It's a Pepsi. No alcohol in it. Thank you so much for hanging out. I have a ball. I have a heck of a good time chatting with you guys, talking about the guitars. And you guys, Dorotio, Zuhair, you guys just make it fun. Thanks so much for hanging out, man. Happy Saturday. Let me drink this to your health. Oh, my. With that said, thanks so much again. Pepsi Zero, yeah, man. I change between Coke and Pepsi. That's moody. All right, man. Everybody, I say this at the end of every stream. Remember, we live only once. We're not getting any younger. Cherish these moments. If you're healthy, if your loved ones are healthy, if there's a guitar at home, if there is a nice warm meal, and you have something to look forward to this Christmas, cherish these moments, man. They don't repeat themselves. These seconds don't come back. You gotta cherish them. Play your guitar, have fun. Guys, love you lots. Undertow. Mwah! Guys, have a great weekend. I'll see you on the next stream. What a tune, though. Take care, Giorgio. Mwah! Be well. I'll see you guys next.